What are some dark horse teams that we're looking forward to in the NBA this season? Potentially make the playoffs. Let's find out right now on Pelican Scoop. What is good, everybody? What is good? Bring some energy. It is Thursday. The weekend's right around the corner, and we are back with another episode of the Pelican Scoop. And I am your host, Jordan Kitchens. Yeah, I'm back again. Like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button, hit the notification bell so you're in tune to what is going on with your New Orleans Pelicans. Training camp is at the end of the month. So we're finally starting to, we're getting into that rotation. We're getting into that rotation of the season. You know what that means? When you get into that rotation of the season, you just start dropping predictions. You start making lists. You start ranking stuff. We're at that point, everybody. So, like, just sit tight with me. Sit tight with me. We're working towards the season. So, with that being said, today's episode is going to be a little different. You know, like I said, it's prediction season. So, we're going to make some predictions. We're going to put my Notre Dame on. We're going to put my Notre Dame on. And I'm just going to try and predict who I think were going to be the dark horse teams of this upcoming season. So, here's a couple criteria for everybody. So, you're not sitting there. Don't be in my look, this is the criteria I decided to go with. Number one, you could not have made the playoffs last year. All right, so I'm not taking teams that made the playoff, like playing. I'm talking like you're one of the 8 teams that are in the playoffs. I'm not counting the play-in because at the end of the day, you still got eliminated, so you did not make the playoffs. So playoff teams teams that did not make the playoffs, who I think will make the playoffs this year, that's pretty much the criteria. So you're not going to see like, oh, I think the San Antonio Spurs is one of my teams, but I'm not saying like, oh, I think I think the Nuggets are going to be a dark horse team, but no, like we're doing bottom of the barrel, guys. So to start it off, I told Taylor I was going to start it off with the West, but we're going to sit tight with the West. Start off with the Eastern Conference. Start off with the Eastern Conference and teams that I think will make well, I got bad news for everybody. The Eastern Conference, I think everybody that made the playoffs last year will make the playoffs again this year. Listen to these teams. Can I interest you in the Charlotte Hornets? No, I can't. Do they even care about basketball? LaMelo, Miles Bridges. Brandon Miller's really good. The Brooklyn Nets, who I really should just call them the Cooper Flags, the Cooper Flags, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Cooper Flag. They're not trying to really play winning. I tell you what, though, if you're a betting man, a lot of Cam Thomas overs this season. Can I interest you in the Detroit Pistons? No, I cannot. The Bulls, I think they're in Cooper Flagville too. I think they're trying to get Cooper Flag too. I don't really think much of the Chicago Bulls. I like a couple of the players. I like Kobe White. Can Lonzo Ball walk? Is he going to – I don't know. DeMar DeRozan's gone. They got the Giddey? Like, that's what you got. You got Jay Giddey. The Wizards, I think they're going to be all-time bad. I don't think much of the Wizards at all. I think the Wizards are a dumpster fire. After hearing so many ex-Wizards come out, like your Nick Youngs and your Gilbert Arenas talk about the franchise and how they got over there, you can kind of see like why they are where they at. I don't think much of him. Johnny Davis. I'm sorry, Washington. I like they got Bud Carrington. He's pretty good. I like Bud, but other than that, the Toronto Raptors. Scotty Barnes, like that. If I had to pick a dark horse team for the East, matter of fact, my dark horse team right now would be the Toronto Raptors. Now, I'll give you some pros, I'm gonna give you some cons. The pros, Scotty Barnes. He's amazing. He's good. Like, he got hurt last year, but Scotty Barnes is a good basketball player for them. Emmanuel Quickley, I like him a lot. I think he has a lot of potential. But what is Quickley's ceiling like? He's not really a floor general type of point guard. He's really more of like, go get a bucket. So that's not really, I guess. RJ Barrett, there's a lot of question marks. He had a bad tragedy that happened last season, so I can't really, speak too much about that. But RJ Barrett is a really good young player. Bruce Brown, good veteran, good glue guy, great glue guy. Won a championship with the Nuggets, got championship pedigree basically at this point. So Bruce Brown, he's a good veteran. Jakob Poeltl, and they got Davion Mitchell from the Kings, the Donovan Mitchell clone. They got Davion Mitchell now, so he's a good defensive point guard coming off the bench, can spell minutes, and they Grady Dick. So and they drafted Jacoby Walter in the first round this year. He's a shooting guard from Baylor. Can really shoot the three. He's a good ball player too. So I mean, we'll see if he's a good ball player. You can't really say nothing now about the summer league, but we'll see. So if I had to pick a team out of the Eastern Conference out of all that garbage, my diamond in the rough would be the Toronto Raptors. So I'm gonna say Toronto Raptors are my dark horse team that's coming out the East. Now the West, this is when it gets grimy. It gets real grimy in the West because there are so many good teams that I think that didn't make the playoffs last year that I will think will be in the mix. They will 110% be in the mix. You can bet that on me. I'm not saying they might not make, but they will be in the mix. There's a lot of tanking going on in the East. It's a lot of PU. It's a lot of stink going on in the East. In the West, not so much. So to start it off with my first dark horse team would be the Houston Rockets. Now, the Rockets, they went 41-41 last year. Barely, well, this wasn't barely, but it was real close to the end with the Warriors to make it that last play-in spot. They're nipping at the bit. All right. I hate to say it because the Pelicans have to play them so much, but I like everything Houston is doing. I like the coach. I like the roster. I like at every position. I think they are, I'm not gonna say stout, but they're going to be a hard team to beat. With the Rockets, they will definitely be in a mix. My next team outside of the Rockets, I know everybody, it's the Memphis Grizzlies, right? The Memphis Grizzlies. I like everything they're doing, man. I like the Grizzlies, man. I like everything that the Grizzlies have going on with John Morant, with Jaren Jackson Jr., with Zach Edey, with Marcus Smart. I can sit there and just name the roster down. Just having a healthy John Morant alone is going to put them in the mix, regardless of the fact. The Memphis Grizzlies are going to be a hard out, going to be a tough opponent. Every time Memphis has a home game and it's a marquee matchup, it's jumping. They're playing to whoop that trick. It gets the rocking in Memphis. So Memphis will be a very hard out. They will be, man, they're going to be tough. Now my next team, they're going to be a dark horse, but it's the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs. Listen, when you have a coach like Greg Popovich, when you have a coach like that of that magnitude, he's going to find a way. Now, they're still a couple years out. I'm not saying that they're going to make some type of crazy push year two of Wemby, but I'll be damned. It's going to happen. They're coming. They might not get there, but when you play the Spurs, it's not like playing the Spurs before they got Wemby, and pretty much last year because it was tough, but you could pull away from the Spurs at the end because they're young and they just know how to really win yet. But Wemby is coming. One thing about him that but Wemby is on the way. The reason why I'm saying Wemby is on the way, man, if I was a betting man, I'm putting him down for Defensive Player of the Year already. And if you are a betting man, you're losing because you haven't done that already. Because the odds probably, as the season gets closer, odds are just going to keep getting low. Victor Wembanyama, he's going to be a force. Now, like I said, they're a couple years away with, Stephon Castle and, Keldon Johnson and, a couple guys, Devin Vassell. So they're maybe a year or two away, but the Spurs are going to be an extremely hard out. And then my last team out the West that is going to be a problem, dark horse, I hate to say it, but the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings, yes, they made the play-in, but ultimately they did not make the playoffs last year. And I don't think that's going to happen this year. I've come around. I said in the past how I felt about the Kings, but listen, DeMar DeRozan, he's a phenomenal basketball player. He's got pedigree. You know what you're getting from DeMar DeRozan. You know what you're getting from De'Aaron Fox. You know what you're getting from Sabonis. So having those three players with a good coach like Mike Brown, Keegan Murray, a nice shooter, role player type of ordeal, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough. And they're going to try and make a push for the playoffs because if at this point where they're at on their timeline, not making the playoffs is a failed season for them, right? This is not if the Rockets or the Spurs do not make the playoffs next year, it is not a failed season. It wouldn't be a failed season. But the Kings or the Grizzlies don't make the playoffs. That is a failed season. So you got to have the Kings up there because what they're playing for. They're gonna, like I said, and they're a veteran team. They're a veteran team, and they pretty much should have made the playoffs last year. They was in the play-in. They had the opportunity. So I don't think they ran into the Pelicans, but I don't think we got to worry about that anymore. They will be in the mix, so we shall see about the Kings. But those have been my dark horse teams for the 2024-2025 season. Like I said, we are working towards this season as training camp opens September 30th. Right around the corner, man. So we're gonna hopefully we'll get some news, media day. We can talk about stuff like that. We get out of prediction season. We can get out of making rankings and lists and all that. But I appreciate you guys for rocking with me and staying tuned in. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. This has been your boy Jordan Kitchens, and I'm signing out.